Hi, welcome to today's Copilot for Microsoft 365 Starter Series. This is round 2, everybody, and this is the kickoff one, so thank you for coming. We're very excited to kick off round 2 of this, and we hope you find it very useful. Today, we're going to be looking at use cases for pharma sales reps, but let me just say as we get started, and Nicholas, I know, is going to affirm this once it gets into it, this is all this stuff that we're covering, irrespective of the focus. It is really applicable to many people across all kinds of industries. And a lot of what you'll see today is things that we're doing today in IT as well. So before I jump in, just a couple of housekeeping pieces. You'll notice at the very bottom, underneath our names here on the screen, it says https aka.ms/HLS blog. That's aka.ms/HLS blog. That's where you'll find the recording following today's session. So all of the recordings for these, as well as the PDF format of the decks, etc., they'll all be loaded up there within a day to two of the webcast. So today's webinar will find up either later, probably tomorrow. I'll have a chance to do that. But that's where you'll be able to find those. So take a look there. Also, as you have questions, comments, etc., we do want to hear from you. You'll notice you should see at the top a QA panel. So you can click on QA, open up the panel, and post your questions there. We'll tend to tee those up for the folks at the tail end for a QA session and QA segment. But, certainly we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear where you're coming from, where you're joining from today. That's always fun to see where people are coming from around the world. And we'll be responding. A bunch of us will be on the back end, saying thanks, we're teeing that up, whatever. And if you say where you're from, I'll give you a thumbs up. So please let us know. So let's go ahead. You want to go on next? For today's agenda, we're going to be talking about, or the folks here, I'm just kicking it off and going in the background. Today, what is Copilot, what it isn't, real quickly through that. Then discussion and demonstration of real-world use cases for Copilot in this scenario. And then, of course, open QA, next steps, and resources. And again, you'll find all this posted after the fact. The age of Copilots has arrived. So if you haven't noticed by now, Copilot is getting lit up everywhere in everything. Microsoft, we've announced it for Notepad. It's in Paint. And yes, I use it in Paint. If you're not, you should try it. But it's lighting up in everything. So the future really is everything with this AI Copilot that's a user-initiated assistant to help users be more productive, get more done, oftentimes with less resources. With that, I'm going to turn it over to, I believe, Jim, you're taking over. And I'm going to go in the background.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Hey, everyone. I'm Jim Warner. I'm a technical specialist here at Microsoft. And today we're going to cover what Copilot really, what it does, what it is, what it isn't. And you'll see some heavy, we're going to be a little bit heavy in the demos areas too. But how Copilot can benefit a sales rep, right? It can help a sales rep better manage their work with features like analyzing data trends, hosting meetings, drafting emails, creating presentations. Can also save time and focus and allow a sales rep to focus on enhancing their interaction with the customer by offloading and automating mundane tasks or automating tasks. Really, it's here for it's your digital assistant for making you more efficient and more effective. What it's not used for. It's important to emphasize that Copilot is really not a replacement for a human. It is here to enhance your daily tasks and things like that. It's not intended to be used for medical expertise or treatment suggestions or legal advice or regulatory guidance. It's a tool to help sales reps improve their efficiency and workflow. So here we have a couple of the things that we will be running through. This will be an example of all the different demos we'll be doing, plus you'll probably get some commentary in there as well. So with that, I'm going to kick it over to Nick to start us off.
Thank you very much, Jim. Yeah, just while the slide's still up there on the screen, I'm going to walk you through a few of these use cases. So, just before I even begin, what I want to explain to you is that I'm not in pharma sales. I work at Microsoft, but I am in a selling position. So I do deal with customers. I have almost 40 customers that I deal with in the healthcare space, largely providers, but just like in pharma sales, I'm still working with customers. I'm building relationships. I'm sending out information, making sure that they're staying informed of, all the updates with our products, what's going on with our organization, making sure that they have the best tools. So it's everything that a seller does is really kind of a generic thing. Today, we're going to be applying it to a pharma sales-focused data set and kind of a role of the day in the life of, but it really could be applied to any sales position. So I'm going to be walking you through some of my favorite uses in Power BI. There's a feature called narratives. I'm going to be also showing you how I work with drafting some emails and using templates to reach customers. And then I'm also going to show you how I work with my notes. So everything that I'm going to show you today is literally a copy of what I do. I can't show you my data set, but it's going to be kind of a slimmed down, watered down version of how I actually operate my sales information with my customer information on a daily basis. So this is real world examples coming from me as a Microsoft professional, but applied to a pharma sales rep context. And then we're going to go into some of the other features of the Copilot and how those could also be utilized in a sales position or a sales role as well. So let me just dive in, and I'm going to share my screen here. And it looks like this is the right one. So I'm going to kind of first tell you how I built this demo and show you how some of the data sets that I'm going to be working with. I don't expect everybody to go this deep into managing their data sets, but you all have access to your own CRM tools. And I know from working with some other sellers that a lot of us export our information into Excel and use it there and start to keep track of interactions and whatnot. So what you see on the screen here, let me slide this out of the way, is the data set that I'm going to be working with. So this is a account number, account link, some information on the account, the executive information, for people who I work with, and then also the city, state, and you'll see here I have latitude and longitude. That's going to come in a little bit. That'll make some sense in just a minute. And then, of course, the sales territory. So I also have a pipeline. So I've exported this from my fake CRM tool, and I put in my pipeline report here. I also have some drug information. So I have the topic, which is the drug, the actual name of the drug category, and then a description of the drug. Now, these are the products that I would be working with. And then I have my opportunities. So these are all the opportunities that I have currently, either active open opportunities or opportunities that I've won, so I can keep track of my sales progress. And then additionally, I also have just a very light summary of meeting notes that I keep as well, so that I can track my interactions with my customers. And when we have either internal meetings to talk about various accounts, or whether I'm trying to prepare for an upcoming customer meeting, I can just go and read through these notes. Now, this is all in Excel. And the reason I have this here is because I'm actually going to transition this over to Power BI. So I've taken, and I just wanted you to see the underlying data. So I've taken the data and I've incorporated it into Power BI. And it's actually very easy to use Power BI Desktop. I'd encourage everybody on this call to at least download it, Power BI Desktop. It's free. Play with a sample report, maybe an Excel file that you have, pull it into Power BI and see how easy it is to use. I like to describe Power BI as if Excel and Access got married, had a baby. It would probably be Power BI or something thereof, because it hosts data, large data sets, but it also gives you the analytical capabilities of Excel, so you could do some really cool things. So one of the very first things that I'm going to show you here is I have this data set here, and this is all based on the information I just showed you in my spreadsheet. Now I have a map here, and it's showing me exactly where this healing center is located on the map. Now, the way you do this in Power BI, again, this isn't a Power BI demo, but I just want to show you how easy it is and how I used Copilot to build this map. So the map feature is really easy. It's located right over here. There's a picture of a globe. You drag and drop it on the screen, and it asks you for information. You know, what's the label you're going to use, and then what's the latitude and longitude. So I didn't have that information right out of the gate. So the way I actually added that to my report was I came over to Power BI. I'm sorry, I came over to Copilot, and I used the Copilot for web. And just to save time, I already ran this query so that you could see it. So I copied and pasted from my list, literally the columns for city and state. And I asked Copilot, please create a table for the following cities with their latitude and longitude. I pasted it in, and it did take a few minutes to generate just because there was so many values, but it went line by line and generated the latitude and longitude. So once I had that information, I added it to my accounts page. And then when I pulled it into Power BI, it enabled me to plot those locations on my map. So that's one use of Copilot, where I've taken information and I've asked Copilot in the web to generate an additional couple columns of information so that I could build a better map in my Power BI tool. So not quite related to the sales rep, but I want to show you some unique ways to use Copilot. So after I have all my data in, I'm actually going to publish it. Now, I have Power BI online. I go ahead and save the changes that I made. I'm going to hit the publish. Now, I've already gone through and created these pages. I'm going to review them with you in just a second here. Hey, Christina, are you out there?
Sure am.
Oh, there it is. I was just going to ask you, where's my workspace, but I'm able to filter it right in the thing. I was going to phone a friend there for a second.
Oh, you got it. You're in the right spot.
I got it. So it's going to go ahead now and update my data set, any changes that I've made to this Power BI. And of course, an error occurred on this. So let me get right to the report because I've already published it. So ignore the small error there. Sorry, I closed my browser, so I have to navigate back to the report. I was hoping to get the quick link from the publish here. And my workspaces being right there. All right. So it's loading up here. And so you can see I have my map, just like I had showed you before. I have my list of opportunities. So each one of these tabs has data that I've curated so that I can start to filter. So say I'm working with an internal sales meeting to talk to Bert, who's the sales director for one of my accounts. I have up here, I can narrow that information down and start to work with that data set. I also have information on revenue. Now, what you see loading in the top right, this is called a narrative. Now, this is built inside of Power BI. I'm going to show you in a second how it works and how easy it is to use. But I've already created all these charts on my page with various information. And so what I can do is I can use Copilot to help build a narrative using just natural language. So I describe to Copilot what I want it to summarize on the screen and how I want it to summarize. And in this case, I've asked it to summarize a bulleted list of insights so that I can get some details about the opportunities on this page. And so it's already highlighted here, total estimate of revenue, drug categories with the highest estimated revenue. So I can start to look and narrow down, where should I be focusing my opportunities and where do I want to grow my product revenue. June was the top month for opportunities with a total of 12. So it's kind of summarizing some information there. So let me go back to the designer here and show you what that looks like. So here's the narrative inside the Power BI desktop. And literally, I drag and drop the narrative onto the screen, and I come up with this prompt where I'm able to create a narrative with Copilot. So right in here, all I did was typed a very basic prompt, summarize the data, use a bulleted list to highlight key insights. Very simple, but extremely powerful based on the fact that I have all the data behind the scenes that the large language can use to summarize. And so the more data, the richer the summary I'm going to get, the more information I'm going to get provided to me. Now, how does this help, with a pharma sales rep? Now I'm going to go back in. First, I'll show you 2 more narratives that I've created. Now, this is my deals page. This is where I have all my opportunities that are that I'm associated with, that I'm working on with various customers. And so I have 2 different narratives that I've added to this page. The one is a summary of recommendations. Now, this one, the prompt is summarize the data in a way that gives me insights into which accounts I should be focusing on this time based on sale potential. And so we'll review that in a second. And then the second one is, this is my favorite one. For each customer, use the customer notes, details, opportunity information to create the body of an email that can be sent to the customer contact, compelling them to meet with me and discuss further. So because this has information on the opportunities, it has notes from my previous meetings and interactions with the customer, and has information about the deals that I'm working on with them, it's going to provide some great insights into an email that I can use. So let me go back to the actual published report here. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on my deals and let the narratives finish populating. Now, it's mentioning here that there's content in my request that it's unable to work with. And the reason is because I gave it a very strong prompt that said for each customer. Now, it's not going to look through all this information and generate 100 different emails for me. It's actually, and I put this in the thing, click on an account deal to generate a follow-up email suggestion. So I'm going to start my day off here. I've got my coffee. I've sifted through my emails. Now I want to start planning my day to figure out where am I going to focus today. And so looking at the summary of recommendations, I have accounts with a potential high revenue sales and open status indicates it reflects 72% of the estimated revenue. So proceeding with that notion, the following opportunities are Abby Kadabi Wellness Magic, Advanced Meds, Alpha Medical, Big Bird Family Practice, Captain. So it's giving me an order of where I should start to focus my time based on the information in these reports here. So I'm going to skip down because I like Big Bird Family Practice, and I know that I was planning on working with them today anyways. So I'm going to come up over here, highlight Big Bird Family Practice. And then now I'm going to hit the refresh on this narrative. And what it's going to do, it's going to review the summary of meeting notes. I only have a few here. Summary of open opportunities that I have, summary of won opportunities as well. And it's going to generate a suggested email that I can use to send. So you can see here, Dear Morgan Ellis, that is the customer contact here. So that's accurate. It was a pleasure sharing SetaTrend and Hypnolite's capabilities with you during our February 1st call. February 1st, presentation of SetaTrend and Hypnolite. So that's good. It's referencing a recent interaction. Talks about the meeting on March 10th, where there was some follow-up on the SetaTrend samples. They're considering a bulk order. And then here it's not perfect, right? It starts talking about us anticipating revenues over 1.9 million. We don't want to talk about that with the customer. So what I can actually do is I can take this information, I can copy it. Now I'm going to go over to my email and get my email open here. So I have a new email here. What I can do is just paste it in and start working with it. So I'm going to take out this section. And it says, furthermore, our ongoing negotiations are still progressing well. We expect to close the deal. We don't want to talk about that with the customer either. So I'm just going to take this out. And so in light of this progress, we're requesting a meeting to follow up. So this looks all right.
Did he freeze?
I think Nick froze.
I think so.
That would appear to be the case. Nick, if you can hear us, you're froze.
Send him a message.
Thought it was me.
No, maybe he has to
Sorry,
restart.
everybody. We'll hopefully have him back here in a second.
If not, I can cut over to my demos.
Why don't we do that? In the interest of keeping things moving.
Okay. All right. So as a farmer sales rep, I might have the need to take a look at a competitor's product insert and get familiar with that. So here I've grabbed a PDF of the a competitor's product insert. I threw it into Word because we don't have full Copilot capabilities inside of with PDFs, but here I have it open and I'm going to invoke Copilot. And I'm going to give it a series of questions so I can get a good understanding of this this competitor's product. You can see here, this thing is 6 pages long with all kinds of different information in here about the drug. So first off, well, I'm going to want to know something pretty simple, right? So I'm going to ask it, what conditions or diseases does this drug treat? And what it'll do is it'll go through this 6 pages of this document and give me that information. I would imagine this is probably pretty commonplace as you look at compete scenarios, you know, across your customers. So you can see here, based on the information, it's for type 2 diabetes. Give some additional information for that. I can ask some additional questions on this. And again, this will probably take me about 45 minutes to kind of run through reading this document, digesting the information, and getting some of these summarized for me. It might take a little while. I'm guessing, like I said, 30 to 60 minutes. I'm just going to go with the average of 45. But you can see here, it's reasoning through the 6 pages, and then it produces a result, right? It comes back with the result saying, hey, it works by doing this. Also, so I can keep going with this line of questioning. So I'm going to ask it to, in the table, list the recommended dosages, administration instructions, and any specific patient populations. So you can see here, I'm going to slide this over so it's a little bit easier to look at. Oh, all right, we're going to do this other one. So this is the key one that I wanted to show. So I might need to compare this competitor document, this product insert for a competing product, and compare it to my own organization's similar drug that that competes with this. So you can see here, this one's for glucorics, but I'm going to compare it to all right. Oh, it's not coming up. That's interesting. Well, what I can do typically, I don't know why it's not finding my other file, but I can compare and put in a table the comparisons between the two different ones. So not sure that's not coming up. So I will take a look at that and see. I see Nick's joined again, and while I
am back.
get that organized, we'll kick it back over.
Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. My internet just blipped on me, but of course it happens at the most inopportune times. So let me just get back to where I was had left off before. So I'm going to speed things up just to try to make sure we can get through everything. So what I really wanted to highlight here is that you can take the Power BI, you can use those narratives to actually get you a head start of a first draft email that you can send to your customers. Now, even if I just took the information there and kind of reworded it myself, I can come up here, I can use the coaching by Copilot. I could, of course, draft it with Copilot. I do wanted to just show you this coaching with Copilot feature, which the other day I had used this, and it pointed out basically to me, it said, you are too literal with your email in it. Try to ask the recipient about their day to make it more personal. It gave me some suggestions on how I could improve my email. So it's going to go through there and generate that coaching. While that's doing that, I'm actually going to shift over really quick. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to shift over really quick, and we'll come right back to it. We'll use the generation time for our benefit. So, just looking for my prompt here. So, we have a new product launch. It's for a drug called Salixil. It's actually a cream that can help with various, ailments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over in Word, and I want to draft a template email that I can use to send out customers that is going to help me announce the launch party and invite some of my customers to it. So the prompt is using document called Salixil. Let me just show you that document really quick. Very basic document I created. Of course, I used the Copilot to create all this content for this demo. So that was one of the various uses that I use Copilot for, is actually creating content that I could use to demo. But this is just a typical brochure for the drug Salixil, some information, customer testimonials, etc. So I'm using that brochure, Salixil. I have to reference it here with the slash and start typing it, and it comes up. So using that document, create a template that I can use to send emails out to customers, inviting them to the launch event on August 3rd at this location. Registration is at 6, welcome reception, and it gives basically my my agenda here: product presentation, testimonials at 8, dinner, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate to generate that draft. Now let's see if the email coaching is done while that's going. So here we go. Coaching from my email that I was writing earlier tells me, be more assertive. Email's polite and respectful, but it could also convey more confidence and urgency for the follow-up meeting. It was a pleasure. Replace that with thank you for, or replace I am writing to request, which I would like to invite you to, or I'm eager to schedule. So coaching gives actually a lot of information here. Reader sentiment tells me to engage more personally. Talks about replacing some of the phrases here, or adding a couple of phrases to make it more engaging. And it talks about clarity as well. So using more specific details. So instead of saying sharing set a trend and Hypnolite's capabilities, email could say demonstrating how set a trend and Hypnolite can help you with the benefits. So just some easy ways that Copilot can help you coach an email, especially on a Monday morning when you might not be as fresh or ready to type these emails up. It's a great way to make sure that you're getting all the sentiment you need. So that's the coaching with Copilot. Let's go back and see where we are with our email template. So looks like I've got a pretty decent, extensive template at this point. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up. I'm going to leave the subject line, the bottom one. I like that one. Don't miss the launch event. Learn how to achieve healthy, radiant skin. Dear customer, that's fine, but we don't need these. With Copilot, you trust but verify, and we're going to have to assume that I've gone through here and verified all this information. I take the bullets off of here, and then I would go ahead and save this, right? Of course, I probably made some adjustments to it and did put my own personalization on it. But the idea is that I quickly generated this invitation template, and now I'm going to show you how I use the template for sending out emails. So I really don't want to save that template. I've already created one ahead of time, looks just like that, just to save time. So the next step is now I want to send this template out to, or I want to use this template to invite some of my customers to the launch event. So the first one is just going to be pretty basic here. I'm using the template. Now I need to actually get it to reference the file here. So I'm going to use the / and type my file name. It looks like we're both having that same issue, Jim.
Yeah, it turned out mine was actually encrypted. It had the wrong label on it, so it wasn't pulling it up because it had a highly confidential label on it. So I changed that. I don't know if I've been noticing some of the documents getting classified because of the topic, subject matter.
Right. So one way to circumvent this, let's go to my OneDrive and my files. I'm going to go right to the file because you can use the URL to reference as well. So Copilot sometimes can be finicky. I'm going to come back here and my prompt now. Hopefully this one works here. So using the file template, please create a custom invitation to Jamie Huggins at Baby Bear Pediatrics. Great. So I'm going to have to refer to my history here to show you what it's supposed to look like. Now, I've done this a number of times before, and in this case, we're going to scroll back up to what I had previously done. So using the template docx file, please create a custom invitation to Jamie Huggins at Baby Bear Pediatric. So it goes through, it reads the template file that I had created, and then creates the email for me. So here it says, Dear Jamie Huggins, talks about the launch event, talks about how it's an advanced topical treatment because it's grabbing all this information from the template that I had created. It then mentions the launch event, when it will take place, and then provides a nice bulleted list of agenda here. Talks about the business attire. And so basically it's pulling everything from my email template and putting it into this email. So I could easily come in here, copy, paste, obviously fill in my own signature information, but it's really quick way for me to use that template without having to actually learn how to use, Malmerge and Excel or Word to create these types of emails. Now, the second piece to this is if I want to get a little bit more personalized with somebody, this is a really great use of the template feature or the template file that I created in Copilot, because now I'm said, please create another one for Riley Quinn at Count Von Clinic. Put in a joke about the fact that I promise there are no boats this time. It's an inside joke, and it's going to make the email more personalized. So here it comes through. So certainly, it's taking the template file and creating one. Dear Riley, I hope this message finds you well and on dry land. I want to extend a warm invitation for our upcoming Salixil launch event. And I promise this time we'll keep our feet firmly on the ground. No boats required. So, I'm trying to bring a little bit of personalization in. The backstory is that last time we went out on a boat trip, and of course it poured, we all got soaking wet, and it wasn't a great experience. So I wanted to throw a little humor, a little personalization in there. And I'm able to do that with that email template. So this is a great way to quickly, invite customers to a dinner or a lunch or a launch event or some sort of event that you're trying to gather, your customers to. So again, it goes through and does the bulleted list for me, talks about, securing the RSVP. Everything that's in my template is listed out here and with great accuracy. So great way to take advantage and use templates. So the final piece that I'm going to demonstrate for you is, I've been out on the road all morning. I sent my emails out in the beginning. I got some follow-up information to do. I went and touched base with some customers in person. And so now I have actually got a handful of notes here. So in this case, just close that. So in this case, I have, a meeting with Starfleet Medical Center in the cafeteria. This happened to be on star date 45/6/21.5. So that translates to May 29th. And the notes are me dictating. I'm in my car after I met with Jane Doe in the cafeteria, which was a total impromptu meeting. I didn't have a meeting set up. I didn't do a recording or anything like that. But I took my notes down in the car after the meeting using dictation in OneNote on my BYOD handheld device, so my personal phone. So now they're in my OneNote, and I need to take this information and quickly generate a summary of my notes and put it into the CRM so that I have rich notes for my Power BI report. So I can use generative AI again in a couple of weeks to send a follow-up email. So in this case, it's just notes that I dictated down. Met Jane in the cafeteria, totally impromptu. She seemed interested in acetoxin, our new NSAID, and talked about its effectiveness, blah, blah, blah. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now I need to translate these and put them into my CRM. And of course, Copilot wants a restart here. I think I've received some updates. That might be part of the problem.
Problem on being dog food all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Get the latest updates really fast.
Well, it's also Monday. A lot of these things happen when my restart happens on Friday nights too. But this I didn't restart, so we'll just open it back up. Let it authenticate me. One of the key points here too is that, I was hoping during this webinar that I could highlight that there are so many different ways to use Copilot, and it's a muscle that you're going to need to flex over time. You're going to need to learn this muscle, practice using it, and over time it's going to be a better muscle. I use Copilot probably twice as much as I did a month ago, which was probably twice as much as I did the month before that. It's continuing to double in the amount of usage that I get out of Copilot, to the point where I have more Copilot browsers open than some web browsers on some days, because I'm constantly interacting with it, asking questions about my own data, asking questions about web data, etc. I don't know if that dialog box was needed or not. So I store all my notes just like this. Everything I've shown you today is how I use OneNote. It's my daily activities, literally to a T. So in this case, I'm going to generate a very short summary using the information on this page with a list of action items in bullet form. That's pretty much what I need for the CRM. What's the summary, what happened, and what do I need to do next? So it's going to go ahead and summarize these notes. And it's going to give me a nice format that I can literally just copy and paste into the CRM. There we go. So really nice format from the page. Met with Jane Doe at Starfleet, discussed the new NSAID, discussed targeting of inflammatory, basically what we talked about. And then the follow-up items, email Jane with the clinical trial data and patient testimonials. I remember she asked that because I was there at the meeting. I could look down here and also follow up or identify that that is an accurate item. Gather information on new studies or recent developments, and then schedule up a follow-up meeting with her for next week. So don't forget to email her with clinical trial data, patient testimonials by tomorrow, set up a meeting for need to follow up after that. So really great way to just copy and paste the updates into my CRM and probably save me a good at least 25, 35 minutes per day instead of having to retype all of this information out in that format. So I think that concludes my demo portion for the day. Just to summarize, what I've done is walked you through how I utilize Power BI, the narratives in Power BI to generate summary of information, help me focus on which accounts that I need to focus on based on the opportunity information that I have, and then also use it to generate the body of an email that I can send off to customers to try to secure an additional meeting. I've also showed you how I use email templates in a non-traditional way using Copilot for work in the M365 chat space and generate emails from templates using that. And then finally, I've shown you the Copilot interaction inside of OneNote to summarize my dictated notes into a format that is more conducive for CRM. Jim, are you ready to take back over?
I believe so. Thanks, Nick.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, so picking up where I left off. So again, I'm still looking at competitor product insert. While off camera, I put in the table list of recommended dosage. So I got my table the way I wanted it. But I also want to create a table comparing this document to my own organization's competing products. So, and I could do it from either one, but in this case, I'm going to invoke this from Copilot pane in the competitor document. This is just working. This is hilarious. Okay, not hilarious. Let me flip over to the other one. Okay, let's see if this will work in reverse. So what I want to do is I want to look, I have my organization's competing product, Diabex. So I'm going to look for, and again, I'm going to do a comparison table between you can see they're both coming up now in this document. I'm not sure. Maybe I got to refresh the old one, but basically I'm going to list in the table. I'm going to compare the two documents for and see how that lays out. So again, just kind of recapping, I'm going through competitors' product insert, taking a look, doing a Q&A on it, and I'm doing a comparison right now between the competitor's product and my org's product. Wow. All right. These are not going as
Luck is
planned.
not on our side, huh?
Yeah, this is interesting. Let me give it one more go. Wow.
Now, can you compare the documents in the chat? I wonder if it would work there.
I could, yeah, that's a good idea. Could be a fallback. This usually produces great results. All right. I'm gonna come back to that one and try it in the chat. But I'm gonna go through a meeting. Nick showed how he took some notes by hand, generated a summary, put them into the CRM. I'm gonna actually go through a meeting that I attended a while back, and then I want to show that we can quickly find information about this meeting and use it to the same effect. So if I have, whether it's an internal meeting, meeting with a customer, I can come in here and I can get certain things from it. So I have the recap up, and I invoke the Copilot pane. So I'm going to pop in list decisions made in this meeting. And what I'll do is I'll go through the meeting transcript and give me all the decisions that were made. I could summarize this. I could say list action items. The other one I'm going to queue up here once this is done, barring any more problems. So again, this is a really old meeting, and it might take a while to go through this transcript. Should only take a minute or two.
Another feature that I really like about Copilot in the Teams meeting is you can actually do this to a meeting that's running live that you're not attending. As long as you're invited to the
Yeah.
meeting, you can actually go to the recap while it's happening and chat with the meeting live.
Yeah, so it took a minute or two, but it's come back. It said, okay, here are the decisions that were made. So I have that, and I can either, if that's something that I got to put in, a report to managers or whatever. But you can see that it produced some decent results around that. So now I'm going to actually ask it to kind of look at the sentiment of this meeting. Was anyone upset about the decisions? And you can tell me the general sentiment during the meeting. So that's the prompt I got in here now. Yeah, and like Nick said, this is great for after the fact, or even if you miss the meeting that if you follow a meeting, you have to come back later and analyze what happened during that meeting. You could do that as well. So it's available during the meeting and after the meeting. So you can see it's kind of gone through the transcript and said, okay, who was upset about any decisions and the general sentiment of that meeting. So I'm gonna we're running a little bit low on time, so I'm gonna kick off. I figured there might be a need to actually produce a presentation based on possibly a product insert. So if I'm meeting with the healthcare professionals and I need to present on a product insert, I can pull all this information in automatically. So I got a new blank PowerPoint up. I'm going to pull up the Copilot pane. And I'm going to create a presentation from a file. So I'm just going to use the prompt that's available in the left rail on the Copilot pane. And then from here, you can see I get some options of recent documents I've been opening, but I'm going to use the product for Glucorix. And then what this is going to do, it's going to come back. It will take a look at the document. So remember, this was a 6-page document, Word document that I had available. You can see it's starting to generate an outline for the presentation, and then it will start producing slides. If this takes, I actually ran this right before the meeting. I'm going to just pop this open real quick, but you can see that it went through and produced that outline, and then it started generating the slides. So it actually produced 35 slides, and it created these images too. So you can see that not only did it pull information from the Word document, it actually took some liberties and inserted images into the deck. And I think most importantly is I have speaker notes as well that were generated for this. So you can see that it's produced quite a few slides based on the product insert, along with speaker notes and images. I can further continue to generate content here. So for example, I might want to add a slide on the benefits of good diet, just for the heck of it, just to see. Again, I wouldn't have to do much work other than put the prompt in and it'll automatically generate the slide. Okay, and you can see down at the bottom, or where to put it. I'll put it where it was. which was where. Oh, I put it somewhere in here. But the point is, you can continue to generate. I could say add a slide for exercise, or generate an executive summary slide, and it'll go ahead and generate that and put it right into the deck. So that is all that we have. Could probably open it up to Q&A since we're running a little bit low on time.
Looks like we have one question. Can Copilot work in a PDF document as well? Yes, Copilot can summarize PDF documents. It's not going to create the PDF for you, but it can summarize documents in PDF format. It all depends on where you're at as well. So, you know, you might not be able to summarize a PDF, and I think actually Mike just called it out in the summary. You can't call a PDF directly from Word or PowerPoint, but you can summarize it using the chat. You can use it in the Edge and sidebar and access PDF content that way. And then, of course, there's custom built solutions that we can use to access PDF content in other places as well.
Right. So like in my example, I was thinking that if I had a PDF, I wanted to do a Q&A session like I was doing, I could also pop that PDF open in Word.
Any other questions? It's like a quiet bunch. Do you think we should call that a wrap, Jim? Mike, Christina?
Yeah, unless there's any other comments.
Yep.
I think so.
Any other
think
co-hosts
so.
want to make? Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. You know, these are just a few ways that we use Copilot in Microsoft 365 for our daily activities. Everything that you've seen here is something that we've all done, like I said, for our own job here in Microsoft. So, you know, feel free to reach out to your account execs. We'll post the information in the blog on the additional resources, as well as links to the upcoming Starter Series event. So stay tuned. We're going to have a few more coming up over the next few Mondays. So keep an eye on the blog and we'll post more information there.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.